Atlanta United Fan TV, 3-1 loss. Really, performance-wise, poor. Effort-wise, poor. Your thoughts?
Poor. Yeah, it was that was outside of the Chicago match. That was, I think, the worst match Atlanta United has played this season. All around bad from pretty much every player on the pitch. Joseph did get his goal, so I guess that's the one shining light as they counted it. I mean, because it was on target and it deflected in. So 14 games in a row, that's the only real good thing to take out of this game. Yeah. But aside from that, he never got the ball. He had no service. Yeah. Pity Martinez had a couple of moments, but he lost the ball a lot tonight. Justin Miram had a lot of hopeful crosses that went into the box that were always headed clear by Columbus. The midfield couldn't seem to put their passes together. Darlington Nagby's first touch let him down. If that doesn't tell you enough, I don't know what does, because at 2-1, he had a golden opportunity to really make it 2-2, 6 yards out in front of the goal and can't get it out from under his feet. Yeah. So it was one of those nights, and you see that you missed Ezequiel Barco. You see that despite the craziness that he brings at times, you miss an LGP because he gives you a structure at the back. Mm-hmm. On the whole, yeah, poor performance when Atlanta United did not need to have one, and they were very rusty. They still look tired despite the fact that they've had 2 weeks off. It was not good. That was a very, very frustrating result to see.
I mean, okay, I will give the caveat that Franco Escobar, I think, had a good game.
Yeah.
You know, he was clearing out a lot of the trouble, had a last-ditch tackle. I mean, overall,
Miles
was
played bad up until the own goal. Yeah. I mean, he had a block in the first half from Zardes that would have been 1-1 or 1-0. I think 1-0 at the time it would have been to Columbus. So the signs were there from very early on that Columbus was here, and they're the third worst team in MLS according to points. They've been pretty poor all season, and Atlanta United had those 2 matches up in Columbus earlier this year. In the first match of the season, in the league, you felt really hard done by because of the weather, and you felt you were the better team. And Atlanta United is the better team, pretty much top to bottom at every position. But tonight, they were outplayed at home by Columbus. Columbus was not afraid. They came in, and they knew what they wanted to do. They were about what they wanted to do. They were compact at the back, and they broke. And it's something that Atlanta United has gotten away with a lot since this shift in formation. Yeah. Teams have not been clinical when they've had their chances on the break. And tonight, Columbus were. They took their chances. They took the 2 that they had. The first goal, obviously frustrating. The second goal was incredibly classy, and the third goal is unfortunate. But at the same time, they outplayed you. They deserve the result. They deserve to get all 3 points tonight, and Atlanta United didn't.
I mean, maybe a little fortunate, definitely on the third one, maybe on the second one, or the first one, maybe with the you know, it bounces around.
Saves it into danger, though. I mean, and it had been coming because they had been forcing him into saves. They had been creating chances, and you can't really say that it came not necessarily against the run of play because, yes, Atlanta United had most of the possession.
Well, the ball over the top was always on.
The ball over the top was always on. They were dangerous every time. And on the second goal, Pogba didn't have his best game. He had a few moments where he was okay, but he takes 1 step forward, and 1 step was all it took to have him dead to rights and to have Columbus into space. And so it's frustrating when you see small mistakes getting punished, but that's the nature of the game sometimes. That happens. It's unfortunate that it happened now because Atlanta United had 6 games remaining, and they had to win all of them in order to finish first in the East. And I think after tonight, I think first place is gone. You have to accept that. You can't lose to a bottom of the table or a second bottom of the table Columbus team 3-1 at home and still expect to finish first place in the East, which means that you're going to have to go on the road and win a playoff game if you want to get to MLS Cup again, which is going to be difficult. It's frustrating because Atlanta suffered 2 back-to-back 3-1 defeats in a row after having the highs of August where you win 2 cups, but you drop 2 3-run results in a row. I felt really confident coming out of that 3-run result to Philadelphia. I do not have that confidence coming out of this game tonight. I want to chalk it off as one of those nights, but I felt very confident that Atlanta United was going to go MLS Cup again. I really did. I felt they were playing well if they're healthy. Obviously weren't healthy tonight. If you have your whole team, but they should have been taking all 3 points tonight. No excuses. Yep. And it wasn't just that they lost. It was how they lost, and they were outplayed at home. That's unacceptable, and it's frustrating because there had been so much good, so much going forward with this team, building and building and getting better and getting better. I think they took a huge step back tonight. They're going to have to rebound, and there's no excuse for them to not go out and get a big result against Cincinnati during the midweek. You have to do that now because you put pressure on yourself, and it makes that game against NYCFC critical because you've lost that game in hand in a sense because they drew that game in the midweek. So you have to go up there and win. You cannot lose any more games. You have to win the rest of them if you even stand a chance to finish first place. And MLS is crazy. Who knows? NYCFC could drop results. Philly could drop results. You can still get in there and be there. But they have to start getting it together. And tonight was poor, but it cannot be a trend. It cannot be like 2017 where they played great, and then all of a sudden the wheels fall off because they were tired. tonight kind of looked like 2017 at the end of the season, and they cannot allow that to happen.
Well, okay. So in terms of the standings, and if it were if it ended today, it would be us against New York Red Bulls. I mean, that's a scary proposition at home.
Before today, I felt confident about it. I felt, I don't care, we were better than Red Bulls in the match that they had here, I felt, and it was unlucky to throw that game away at the end. And Atlanta wasn't playing their best soccer at the time. But after tonight, I mean, I felt that if Atlanta played at home, they could beat anyone. But tonight showed that anyone can really come in here because, again, Columbus is not a good team. They're building. This is a rebuilding year. They've accepted that. Yep. And they came in and sucker punched Atlanta United tonight. And if Columbus can do that, I'm very confident that pretty much any team can do that. And it's worrying to see, especially a team like Red Bulls who has Atlanta United's number. And, yeah, Red Bulls haven't been great this season. They've struggled. And honestly, yeah, they lost that game in the playoffs last year, the one game that mattered. But that being said, after tonight, I wouldn't want to see them come here. So, yeah, Atlanta is not in a great spot right now. And it would have been nice for them to get that first-round bye. But right now they're staring on the barrel of one of those 6 spots below that first place, and you got to play one of those games, and then you play 3-4 days later in the middle of the week. And that's not what you want to see. But if you have results like this, that's what you're going to get. So Atlanta United, 5 games left in the season. They've got to get it together, and they've got to win all 5.